It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and here we are. It is 5 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning. Thursday. That's right. Thursday means it's practically Friday. One more little day, and there's the weekend, and off you go. Man, another really frosty morning. Hard frost. I needed the ice scraper this morning, and but, well, it should warm up. Maybe sometime in April or something. So here we are. It's chilly out there, but beautiful morning. Boy, the trees, the color, it's just gorgeous out there. Although it is a little chilly. Well, more drugs in the news. I don't think a day goes by when there is not a drug bust somewhere in the area. I said this yesterday or the day before or something, but man, they're just all over the place, and it never, ever ends. I don't know. Well, if you listen to the news, and how can you not, and keep up with it, Washington is just, what a mess, what an absolute mess. And I have a number of stories here that kind of, things are really getting strange out there, really strange. This is from the Institute of Politics and Public Service, and it's written by Paul Bedard. And the headline is Battleground. 7 in 10 say U.S. is on the edge of civil war. That is kind of alarming. Maybe there wouldn't be any, like bloodshed or, I don't know. No shooting, no tanks in the street, but it kind of does appear to be on the edge of some kind of real confrontation. It says here, partisan political division and the resulting incivility has reached a low in America, with 7 in 10 believing that the nation is nearing civil war, according to a new national survey. That's pretty serious stuff. The majority of Americans believe that we are 2/3 of the way to being on the edge of civil war. That, to me, is a very pessimistic place, said Mo... his last name. Elite. Anyway, old Mo is the executive director of Georgetown University's Institute of Politics and Public Service. And worse, he said in announcing the result of the Institute's Battleground Poll Civility Survey, the division is likely to make the upcoming 2020 presidential race the nastiest in modern history. Yeah, I guess so. Highlighting findings that show voters angered with compromise and growing unfavorable ratings of President Trump and most 2020 Democrat presidential candidates, he said the poll paints a picture of highly negative campaign, and that will continue to exacerbate the incivility in our public discourse. He added it'll be sort of a race to the bottom, and has the potential to be a race to the bottom. The civility poll is an offshoot of the famous bipartisan battleground poll conducted by Democrat pollster Celinda Lake of Lake Research Partners and Ed Goes of the Terrence Group. While it found that about 9 in 10 are frustrated with the rudeness in politics, it also revealed that the public really isn't interested in traditional compromise. For example, so nobody wants to compromise. For example, Goes pointed to the poor favorable ratings of presidential candidates and said that 2020 may be a rare race between candidates that less than half the country likes. He said this is going to be a large body of voters who dislike both of them, and that's going to be the swing vote in the election, which means it dictates the kind of campaign that's run, he said. Lake agreed that the national division is widening. There is relative consensus that divisions in this country are getting worse. Both pollsters noted that the public blames social media, the news media, and President Trump for the growing division. But Goes, not a fan of the president, said he believes Trump didn't start the rudeness in politics. He says he is a symptom of where we are, not the disease, he said, adding, one of the things that I focused on as we have gone into this death spiral of instability in the country, that we had to be at a certain point for Trump to become acceptable. And the poll backs that up. it found that just about 8 in 10 believe that behavior that used to be seen as unacceptable is now accepted as normal. So that's what that poll found. Just a little alarming. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's me, but I think the problem is that there are two Americas existing in the same space at the same time. So one is kind of superimposed on the other. And one America thinks that America is a good place, founded on strong, solid principles. And it was founded by a group of people who were the product of their time. And this first group sees the United States as a land of opportunity, a land that has done a lot of good, a tremendous amount of good for the entire world for a long time. They see it as a land populated by good and decent people, a land where you can make something of yourself if you want to, right? You needn't sit around and moan and groan and blame your circumstances on your zip code. That's a new theory that came out last couple of months. So this theory goes that your zip code determines where you are, right? Financially or economically, socially. So your zip code determines your life. Okay, that's very good. Yeah.
We should ask Frank Williams. He's a mailman when he's not being a sports announcer.
So he would be an expert in this, I guess. So he knows all these zip codes and
that and being chased by dogs, I'm sure.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so
I wonder if the dogs are included in this study about zip code feelings.
I'm not quite sure. I didn't really read that far into it a couple of weeks ago when I
Sorry, go ahead.
Then there was there was some poll. Your diversity poll or something. The colleges determine whether or universities and colleges determine your acceptance based on a whole bunch of factors that really have nothing to do with your academic achievement. But yeah, I don't know. That's strange. Anyway, so one America sees America as a good place. And then there's another America. And the other America sees America as an evil place, founded on evil principles by evil men. And this other America sees America as filled with racism and bigotry, hatred, slavery, oppression, and whatnot. All of it bad. And it sees America as having done nothing but bad for its entire history. And it's becoming really clear now that there are two Americas at the same place at the same time. And that's what's causing all this. And then I thought, remember in 2009 when somebody said that he wanted to transform America? Although he didn't really specify transform it into what. I'm not quite sure what he wants or what he wanted to transform it into, but whatever it is or was, it's happening right now. I mean, we are being transformed. And it gets, I don't know, it gets more and more tense. I mean, it's breaking out all over the place. It's just very, very strange. And until we get that reconciled, man, I don't know what we're going to do. I have absolutely no idea. I'm just a dumb guy, a reporter with the microphone, and here I am. But I don't know what we're going to do. I really honestly don't know. Okay, and it's it's not really a theme here, but it's sort of in the same general, I don't know. This is from the National Review. This is really strange. Massachusetts bill would jail people for using the word, I can't say it, it starts with a B and it rhymes with itch. Okay? So there you go. So Massachusetts bill would jail people for using that word. A proposal to criminalize a word was formally considered at the highest level of a state's government. On Tuesday of this week, Massachusetts legislators considered a bill that would criminalize certain uses of the word B rhymes with itch, making it punishable by up to 6 months in jail or a fine of up to $200. The bill, introduced a month ago by State Democrat Representative Dan Hunt, states that, quote, a person who uses the word B rhymes with itch directed at another person to accost, annoy, degrade, or demean the other person shall be considered to be a disorderly person and would be guilty of a criminal offense punishable by a fine of not more than $200 or jail time of up to 6 months. The offense could be reported not only by the person being called that word, but also a third-party witness. As many legal scholars have pointed out, the proposed law is blatantly unconstitutional. For example, Ari Cohn, the former director of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education, told the Washington Examiner, the First Amendment does not and cannot sanction prohibiting words simply because they are subjectively used to degrade or demean. If the word, B rhymes with itch, can be outlawed when used to demean, why can't MAGA, M-A-G-A, or liberal? Going down the road, Hunt proposes would expose to prosecution nearly all of the speech that the First Amendment was meant to protect. Jim Manley, an attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation, which litigates free speech issues, told Reason, a magazine, something similar. He said, as the Supreme Court has said, there's no happy talk requirement in the First Amendment. You cannot ban a word when it's used to annoy someone, but let them use the word when they are using the word in a positive way. Legislatures, he said, just can't pluck words out of the dictionary and ban them. Now, according to Boston.com, this bill reportedly came at the request of an unidentified constituent, singular. If people unconcerned about those who openly lobby against the First Amendment on the grounds that they don't have any real influence or impact were correct, it would have stopped there. The request would have been ignored, written off as nothing more than the wackadoo view of some fringe left uber-progressive who doesn't understand the Constitution, and never discussed again. But that's not what happened. It's terrifying, but it's true. A sincere proposal to criminalize a word was formally considered at the highest level of a state's government. Someone was advocating for blatantly unconstitutional censorship, not just in some classroom in Berkeley, California, but in an official capacity at a state's capital. Now that is pretty frightening. That's really weird. Because you can ban that word or, put people in jail for using that word. What about a whole bunch of other words? I mean, you're talking jail time and a fine here. And there's something called the First Amendment, I think. Anyway, Fox News has a commentator, what's his name? Greg Gutfeld. And he had a really good piece this morning. I mean, a really good piece, where he kind of approached the first story I had and this other story I have here. He said, one shouldn't take crazy stuff seriously because there's nothing normal about crazy stuff, and you don't want to pretend there is. So if it's crazy, it's crazy. Problem is, he says, this is the golden age of crazy. You have Representative Adam Schiff of California in Washington, D.C., you have homelessness in California, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, and you have crazy protesters in London. And now in Boston, Democratic State Representative Dan Hunt has introduced a bill that makes using the word used to describe a pregnant dog punishable by 6 months in jail. And before you dismiss this as piffle, let's not forget, it made it this far. So from a citizen to a government body in a large city in a large state. And he goes on. Crazy is like mold. The longer you look away, the bigger it gets. Some people will defend this bill saying, while I don't agree, I understand. Words hurt. No, this is what happens when you pretend crazy is not going to get out of its crazy little box, because it's out of the box now. And that box was a college campus. And then came the California legislature, and now it's in media, human resource departments, and government. He says when sane people go for shelter, the crazy comes out. A socialist runs for president, words get banned, secret cabals, egged on by the media, undermine a duly elected government. And they call you crazy? He says real crazy is on the march. Crazy wants to turn math into gibberish. Remember I had that story yesterday? It wants to ditch school grades. It blocks people from going to work, throws fluid on politicians, mobs people at their houses, spits and punches at others for wearing hats, concocts hoaxes to incite violence, keeps the sick and drug addicted on the streets, brands biology a phony construct, and now crazy wants to make insults legal. He says the crazy people also think the world is ending in 10 years. And with them running the asylum, who can say they're wrong? And that was Greg the Gutfeld on Fox this morning. That's a really good piece. I like that a lot. Okay, let me see. Insurance, that's right. Everybody needs insurance. Now, that's something that makes sense. A lot of this other stuff doesn't, but this makes a lot of sense. Oh, boy, do you need insurance. And they have all kinds of insurance at the Ryan agencies. They have offices in Hornell, Jasper, and Wellsville. They're independent. They are beholden to no one insurance company. They have all those insurance companies at their disposal. And they are insurance experts. They can check all these different companies, all the different plans. And when you come in and say, I need insurance for this, that, or the other, they'll say, how about, well, let me see. No. Yes, how about this one? This is the right one for you. Because that's what they do. They offer sound, unbiased advice. They're friendly. They're local. They are the Ryan agencies.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Ralph Irvin.
Wednesday night, it was Game 2 of the World Series as Washington took it to Houston 12-3. The Nationals scoring 6 runs in the 7th inning to blow the game wide open. Washington now leads the series 2-0. The question for A.J. Hinch and the Astros, is it time to panic?
The Nats have outplayed us, bottom line, and they came into our building and played 2 really good games. And we're going to have to try to sleep off the latter third of this game.
And get ready for Game 3, which is set for Friday in Washington, D.C. Wednesday night, it was night 2 of the NBA season. And Donovan Mitchell, 32 points, a dozen rebounds. Utah took care of Oklahoma City, 100-95. San Antonio got a win over the Knicks, 121-11, while Dallas received 34 points, 9 rebounds from Luka Doncic, another 23 points from Kristaps Porzingis. They beat the Washington Wizards, 108-100.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Dangerously windy weather sweeping through Northern California is bringing power outages to tens of thousands of homes and businesses. The state's largest utility is staging blackouts designed to prevent wildfires. Pacific Gas and Electric cutting power to nearly 180,000 customers in 15 counties. Tesla posting a surprising profit of $143 million in its latest quarter. The numbers are raising hopes the electric car pioneer may finally be turning the corner after posting mostly losses during its first decade as a publicly held company. The uptick comes after Tesla lost more than $1 billion during their first half of the year. Asian stocks closing Thursday mostly higher. U.S. stock futures are trading slightly higher, and on Wednesday the Dow gained 46 points. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Tom Graham, invested in you.
You see them all around town. Cintas trucks and their service reps taking care of customers. When companies use Cintas, you know they're confident and ready. Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid and safety programs, handles their apparel solutions, and helps keep their facility and restrooms clean and stocked. So you know those companies care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together, they're ready for business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Today at Simmons Rockwell Hyundai, drive away in a new Hyundai Tucson lease for only $229 a month. A new 2019 all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE model equipped with 17-inch alloy wheels, touchscreen media, and rear view monitor. Lease with no money down for $229 a month for 36 months. Only tax and DMV fees are due at signing. Shop Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Oh, yes, and here we are. Okay, let me see. From all that, we go to something that makes a lot of sense. Domino's Pizza in Australia, all right? Vegans, or vegans, whatever they are. Vegans, I think it's vegan. I don't know. Anyway, Do you have any preference there, Brian? Vegan?
I always hear vegan.
Probably vegan. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'll stick with vegan from now on. Another vegan story. Domino's in Australia. Well, a Domino's in Australia is apologizing to a vegan customer who was unknowingly served ham on his pizza rather than the plant-based pie he ordered. On the same day, the Australian stores debuted 4 new plant-based pizzas specifically for vegans and vegetarians. So, Patrick Huckins of Sydney ordered the pizza on Monday, but said he felt something was amiss upon taking his first bite. He said, "I had a horrible sinking feeling," he told the Daily Mail in Australia. Huckins then inquired about the topping, but was told it was plant-based. So I figured, okay, I'll eat the pizza. Well, only afterward, when he started to feel sick, was he sure that he'd eaten ham. Oh, no. Anyway, I had eaten an animal. There should be an exclamation point there. I had eaten an animal. Not eating animals has become a core part of my belief system, he told the outlet. I felt betrayed. I have been vegan for 4 years, and I've eaten an animal, and having eaten an animal against my knowledge or consent has really thrown me off as I feel my values, he added. So, he took a photograph of the alleged ham on his alleged pizza, and he showed it to the Domino's, the store there. And the company has since offered Huggins an apology. Huggins accepted, according to Facebook, but he says the resulting media coverage of his ordeal has made him realize how insignificant his issue is in relation to his larger concern. He says, "I just want to bring it back to what is the important concern here, the welfare of the defenseless animals that have to endure horrendous suffering and horrifying deaths in slaughterhouses," he wrote. And that was posted on Facebook. "Veganism is not about me. Honestly, this whole drama has led me to realize how insignificant and unimportant my discomfort in eating that pizza is when compared to what it means for the poor pigs who die screaming for their lives in gas chambers." Okay, so there you go. So, Huggins had also written in a previous Facebook post that he's not an angry vegan who was furious. Not an angry vegan, claiming that some outlets have painted him as such, but rather that he appreciates Domino's taking action to prevent the same situation from happening in the future. So Domino's says, "We would like to apologize or publicly apologize to our customer." And that was, let me see, in a statement obtained by the Daily Mail. So Domino's engages in some public self-flagellation, and they say this was an inadvertent mistake, which will be used as a learning opportunity for our team members. Domino's has a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee, and each of our team members works hard to deliver meals that meet our customers' requirements, including specific dietary needs. So, Domino's Australia had debuted 4 vegan-friendly pizzas on Monday, including a vegan Hawaiian pizza featuring plant-based ham. Plant-based ham. I don't know. Anyway, so the chain also offered Huggins a coupon for another pizza, although he told the Daily Mail that the coupon would not cover the cost of one of their vegan offerings. So, there you go. Okay. And that takes care of that. Now, what else have we here? I'll save that for tomorrow. Yeah, okay. So there's this guy. Where was this? He's some guy in Illinois. 36-year-old Matthew Bushman. And the cops arrest him. They were investigating a forgery. So they ask Mr. Bushman his name. And he gives them another name. And they say, "Well, what's that name tattooed on your neck?" And he says, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, this guy had his name tattooed on his neck. So they went to arrest him, and he gives him another name. And the cop says, "Boy, sure, let me see. We'll take your fingerprints here. Yep, that's you. There's your name, right smack tattooed on your neck." So anyway, he was also arrested for obstructing justice. I mean, here's his name. Okay, fine. Very good. There you go. Okay, that's it for this morning's show, and I will see you tomorrow at 8:05. Bye.